Does Monday at the office feel like a storm? Not with Microsoft Copilot. That feeling when Copilot gets everyone up to speed instantly? It's sunny again. When Copilot simplifies complex data so your teams can act, that sun's shining on a beach. And when Copilot uncovers hidden insights, you're on that beach with your people, and you find buried treasure. That's Microsoft Copilot. Learn more at Microsoft.com/AI for all.
Survivor 46 is here, and so is On Fire, the only official Survivor podcast, and we have a twist this season. The winner of Survivor 45, Dee Valladares, will be joining us every week.
We're going behind the scenes of the biggest moments, the how and the why things happen, and the strategy and analysis you can only get from someone like me, a Survivor winner.
Listen to On Fire, the official Survivor podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
In my shed, I have all my expensive stuff, like crystal and stuff like that.
Why?
Why? Because now if you come and rob my house, you won't get nothing but a TV.
This is the plaintiff, Harriet Taylor. She says her neighbor, the defendant, cut a vine growing on her property and hanging over a shed, and the thing crashed down, smashing her Lalique and Baccarat crystal. Her Lalique elephant and her Baccarat crystal glass are now garbage. The shed is smashed to smithereens, and she's suing the uncaring, irresponsible defendant for every penny of the $5,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Annette Michael. She says she owns the house next to the plaintiff's, and yes, she had a vine she cut down on her property because it was causing an insect problem. She, however, never entered the plaintiff's property. There was never any mention of an outside shed being damaged, and this is the first she's heard of crystal being stored out there. She has no idea what the problem is, has never heard of someone storing expensive designer crystal in an outdoor shed, and thinks she's being rooked. She's accused of having a Jack in the Beanstalk moment.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come forward, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Harriet Taylor, you are suing your neighbor. Actually, you don't live there. You own the property, right? Annette Michael for $5,000 in damages that you say are occasioned by her negligence. Tell me what's going on.
Mrs. Michaels, my voice changed. I'm a World Trade Center survivor. I want to let you know that.
You mean, were you in the area or were you in the buildings?
I'm going to give you all of that information.
I meant at the World Trade Center. Were you in the area?
I'm a responder. We was officers.
A responder.
I'm going to give you all of that information.
Just tell me, what kind of responder were you?
The mayor, our mayor, volunteered all city workers to come to clean up.
Okay.
And to fix things and shift through the rubble.
And you were a city worker?
Yes.
So it was after the explosions?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right, so go ahead.
What happened is she cut a vine down.
Where was the vine?
The vine is on her property.
Okay.
When she cut the vine down, it came right down on my shed.
Okay.
So I live on the side of her.
Okay.
And then there's a big piece of vine, a big piece of wood from the vine, because it's been there so long.
Okay, so you mean bark, like the vine had it?
Yes,
okay.
That is stuck into the back of my shed.
Okay, so it damaged your shed?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
In my shed, I live in the middle of the ghetto. I want you to notice.
Okay.
In my shed, I have all my expensive stuff, like crystal and stuff like that.
Why?
Why? Because now if you come and rob my house, you won't get nothing but a TV. You won't get nothing else because it's all in my shed.
What do you
keep? All my stuff is in my shed.
Okay, what is it was your stuff damaged in the shed? Is that
Oh, yeah, I lost I lost my elephants, my Lalique elephants, and I lost my Baccarat crystal. This.
Oh, that's a good sound. How did the Lalique and the Baccarat get damaged?
Oh, because there's this bark ran into the back of my shed, and there's a big hole there as we speak.
Do you have pictures of the damaged crystal?
No. We cleaned up. I had a guy to come and clean up. This sent me to the hospital because I have COPD, emphysema, and a lot of other things that I got from the World Trade.
Okay. So you don't have any pictures of the broken crystal?
No.
But you do have some pictures. Can you hand them to Douglas so I can see?
Yes. I want him to see. This is the pictures.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, is this the shed that we're talking about?
Yeah, that's my shed.
Whose wall is this?
That's her
my wall.
Okay, so it's vine that grows on the wall?
Exactly.
Okay, I need to I'm gonna walk over to where you are. If I look at this picture, I understand what you're saying. Here's your shed, your house is here, this is her wall, here is the vine. Okay? Where I don't understand you is, what is this a picture of?
That's the picture of the big vine that we just took out this weekend because it was stuck in the back of my shed.
Okay, so
This is right in front of my garbage for the garbage man to come.
got it. But so I understand what you're explaining to me. There is vine, and the vine grows on the side of her property, which abuts right to your shed. And according to you, the vine came down and damaged your shed?
Yes.
Did she pull the vine?
Didn't come down.
Okay.
She cut the vine down.
Okay, but she didn't remove the vine?
No.
She left it on your shed?
Yes.
Okay. Did she ever discuss with you, hey, you have a vine, the vine is growing, I want it down, or you just were removing your own vine?
On about the 13th of July, she called me over because she normally sees when I'm going into my house.
Okay, what is that your house? You rent it out? What is
No,
it?
it's my house, but I rent it out.
Who do you rent it out to?
We have a homeless shelter. It's a private homeless shelter.
Okay. Have you had discussions with her about that before?
Oh, no, she called me over on the 13th. I
Okay.
was going into the house. She came to her back door, and she called me, and she says that the vine that's in the backyard is making insects go into her shed, and that the vine is on my property, and I should remove the vine.
Okay.
I immediately agreed. I said, no problem, I'll remove the vine.
Okay.
So on the 21st, 5 of us went there because the vine, it's been there now for over 11 years. I bought the house in 2004. And the vine has been there for over 11 years.
Okay.
And in fact, I've got pictures.
Okay, she's got a picture of the vine half taken down and there's somebody staring at her. What happened there?
Okay. We started taking the vine down because it went all the way up to the roof.
And then what happened? It fell on her shed?
No, it was actually hanging on a wire. And then I went around to her house, I rang her bell to ask her if she, because when we went around to the back, we realized we had no access to the back of her house. But she didn't answer the door.
Okay, could I say something now?
No, not yet. Here is a picture that you also took, and this is a picture of your shed.
We cleaned the top of the shed off and put plastic. This is plastic on top.
Well, you're going to have to prove that. Do you have a picture of a damaged shed?
No, not there.
Okay,
It's
you
in
have
the
1,000
back. It's
pictures,
the
but
back.
you don't have a picture of a damaged
because
shed.
we couldn't turn the shed around in the back.
I don't know what you're saying. You know exactly. I don't know where you're standing here, but that's a really good vantage point to take pictures of a damaged shed, because you have pictures of a shed with
You
this,
cannot
and then
take
you have
a-
pictures of this, which you say, oh, no, that's a new roof I put on it. Can you show me a damaged roof?
Judge, Your Honor, please.
Yes or no? Can you show me a damaged roof?
If you look on one of them, let me see if I'll see if I can show you it. You can see it's damaged here. See that line back there? And then in the back, the total back is where that big piece I showed you. And it's still growing. Here, the shed, I've been there since 1970. Now, with the ivory, when she cut it down, the bugs and stuff came into my house.
Well, she didn't give birth to the tree. I mean, God makes the trees.
She could have treated the tree. I didn't tell her to do that.
Everybody should just let the ivy right where it was. It wasn't bothering anybody except for the structure of your
why
house.
couldn't she treat it?
Did you ever ask her to pull down the ivy?
No, I asked her to treat the ivory, to treat it like we've been doing. Everybody's been treating the ivory that lived in that house. They spray and spray, and that's what helps.
How long have you owned that place?
11 years.
Okay.
Since 2004?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How long after you guys were trying to take it down and she didn't answer the door, did she just go ahead and get somebody to finish the job?
I'm not sure because...
A day or a month?
No, it had to be probably about 2 or 3 days because one of my clients kept going over there and ringing the bell. And then after they removed the vine, after she had someone else remove the vine, then she answered the door and told him that she's going to sue me.
That was what she said? I'm going to sue you?
Yeah.
What did you, let me see what you're suing for. Let's see, $5,000. All right, so $1,598 for the shed. Why?
Why? Because
you can't even show me damage on it. I mean, you said, you see that line? That's it.
Because the shed is there, and the thing, that big piece I showed you, went through it.
Okay. No, you're going to have to show me that a big piece went through it.
It happened in her, on her roof.
I need you to listen to me. Do you have any proof that a big piece went through it? Because all of the pictures you're showing me show me a shed that nothing went through. Do you have pictures of the shed?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see them?
Yes.
Can I show you something else about the shed? The shed was put in after 9/11, and it was put in by Home Depot from scratch.
That's lovely.
They did everything.
Okay, all you've handed me now is a price off the internet of what it costs to get a shed.
Not off the, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not what you need to come to court and get $1,500 for an old shed. No. All right, so it's like Jack and the Beanstalk. All right, you are also suing for $800 for Lalique and Baccarat, and you don't have any pictures of broken. Yes, I know that is a Baccarat. Well, let's
yes, it is.
Hand it over.
Yeah, look at it.
But do you? Do you have any pictures of damaged ones and receipts for them?
Your Honor, let me show you something. I cannot go in. I can't even go into the shed.
Would you like to see what she?
Please.
What is that now?
It's where that all of that stuff made me go to the hospital because I couldn't breathe at all. What you see about COPD is nothing like what happened to me because of those bugs and the trees and all that stuff that day. That was when I discharged out of the hospital on the 25th. If you look through those papers, you can see all what's going on. And let me tell you something else. Mrs. Michaels has a house with nothing but beds on it with criminals in there. Criminals come to they sit in front of your door, they stand on the corner, they out all day. Department of Buildings have been trying to get in there. They cannot get in there. This is from the Department of Buildings.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. We are right in front of the TMZ Celebrity Tour Bus. We decided to kind of combine the two and talk to people around the country who are looking for celebrities or whatnot. So, does somebody who lives in a neighborhood have a right to complain to their next door neighbor that somebody is kind of running a halfway house with a lot of criminals inside?
I don't think they do. I mean, it's not your house. Is it your problem?
Well, they say it's their problem because they're saying it kind of, it's kind of dangerous for them.
I think we should always be working for the betterment of society. I don't think they really have a right to complain.
These people have been, have done crimes, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think you should complain unless they're harming you. It's not your business.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
All right. Can I ask you? You're also suing for $219.76 for an exterminator. May I see that bill?
Yeah.
Do you have proof that you paid people $250 to clean up?
No, it's not there no more. That's the proof right there.
Well, but that doesn't
None of that stuff is there anymore.
I understand. That proves that it got done. It doesn't prove how much you paid to get.
I can't do that.
That proves that it got done. It doesn't prove how much you paid to get it done. I want proof that you paid somebody $250 to remove it.
I could. You can't take these people off the street and say, give me an affidavit because you did this work for me.
No.
I can't do that.
No, but you know what you can do?
No, I did
you
a
can
good
take
job.
a pen and you can take a piece of paper and you can have him acknowledge that they received the money.
They did a good job for the little bit of money, the stuff that was in that 23
How much little bit of
bags.
money was it?
It was like $250, $200 for one and $50 for the other. She sent a man to my house to ring the bell to tell me she wanted to give me $100. That's when I told the man, the criminal man that lives in her house, that I'm going to court.
Okay. All right.
And I can't have her, because she runs a criminal house, just take and do what she wants and get away with it. That's a bit much for me.
So is this really about the fact that she runs a homeless shelter right behind your house?
Yes, she does.
Right. Is that what you're mad at?
She runs, no, they convicts, the people that they let out of jail.
Is it a halfway house?
Yeah, that's
It's a transitional house.
Transitional house?
That's
Is
what
it
they
a
call it
transitional
now?
house for folks who are transitioning out of jail?
Yes,
Okay.
but the clients don't normally hang around on her steps,
They do
nor
that.
in the neighborhood.
They hang out in the whole community. There's a
In
whole
fact-
bunch of people from the city that's got all of these papers on her because they don't want that there. One lady she was so afraid. She was older lady, lived right next door to her, had a heart attack. It's not funny. It's really sad. It's sad that we lived there so many years and earned our home and earned to be in such a status, and then there's somebody that comes along and just takes it and do what they want and have criminals come in our backyards and the side of us ringing our bells and acting like they smoking reefer on the steps and kind of going on. That's not right.
Okay. All right. And then the last of what you're suing for to reach the $5,000 max was $2,132.24 in pain and suffering.
Yes.
And I think you've described what you felt was your pain and suffering. Based on what I have listened to, I am going to order the defendant to pay up the cleanup costs of the vine. It's something that you undertook to do, and then it was left there. I understand that you're saying that you were trying to pick it up, but even you recognize that it's something that needed to have been finished. I don't think and I know she doesn't have the proof of it, but I think $250 is a reasonable amount. You probably should have hired just people to take care of this. You should have planned it. You should have, consulted with her on a day that you would have access to being there. I think that it's pretty obvious that a lot of what is going on here is that she doesn't like your existence back there. She doesn't. Okay? And that's something that you have to take up in a different forum, not here. That's something that you can go to your city and you can say whatever you think they're doing wrong and that they're not, because they're allowed to exist. But if you don't feel like they're doing it according to the laws, then that's something you complain to the city, and you keep complaining to the city, and then you get them to do. But here, I've just got to decide one thing. Did they do something wrong, and what is that worth? It is certainly not worth the cost of a shed you can't prove was damaged, the cost of Lalique and Baccarat you can't prove was broken. The fact that you hired an exterminator, okay, hire an exterminator, but the fact that the ivy exists and that bugs exist on the outside of our surroundings is not her fault. She doesn't have to pay for your exterminator. And frankly, you shouldn't have undertaken this, because this is where you got yourself into this problem where you were trying to be nice. We're done. $250 verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, so this neighborhood battle winds up in an award from the judge to you of $250. What's your reaction to the outcome here?
I feel that I did not get due process.
You realize you didn't provide proof of the shed damage and proof of the crystal damage.
I should have took more pictures.
Mm-hmm. How are you going to resolve this neighborhood problem?
Well, I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's being gotten to. Don't you worry none.
You're not done fighting, are you?
Listen, I'm not dead yet.
All right, right down this way. Okay. Step on in here. What's your feeling about this here?
I feel really badly for her. Because,
why do you feel badly for her?
Because there is no egress in the back of her house. God forbid there's a fire or something, and she runs out her backyard. Mm-hmm. She would have no place to go.
Well, she's not happy about the existence of the transition house.
We know
that's
the real issue.
This is a problem you have in the whole neighborhood with all the neighbors there?
No, there are about 20 transitional houses within a 10-block radius of us. And there is one more thing. If a person does have such items in a shed in the back of their house, it should be covered by their homeowner's insurance.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, if somebody has overhanging trees, branches, or whatever, what you do is, this is such a good idea, I'm telling you, you send them a note, and maybe an email, because what it does is it then puts them on notice, and you say in there, if anything happens, now that I've put you on notice, you're going to be responsible for the damage. They'll usually do the right thing if you do that. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
This is the plaintiff, Sean. He says he was hired by the defendant to install kitchens in houses he fixes up and sells. And when he deposited his paycheck, it bounced. When he contacted the defendant, the guy acted all surprised about the problem. Promised to give him cash, but still hasn't. For crying out loud, the guy drives a convertible Mercedes and runs away from paying his employees? Unbelievable, but true. So he's suing for $1,365, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Robert. He says the plaintiff goes around saying he's an expert kitchen installer, but the guy's a hack who doesn't have a clue about what he's doing. The plaintiff didn't install the first kitchen he hired him to do correctly, because when you try to open one of the drawers, it hits the handle of the oven, so you can't open it. Bottom line, the plaintiff never finished the job, didn't provide his license, so he can't get a permit, and most definitely owes him nothing. He's accused of passing a rubber check.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant hired him to install kitchens and the check bounced. But the defendant says the guy's a hack. It's the case of, I'm not going to take it in the pantry.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay. Everyone's asked not to mention their company names or their last names. So, Sean, you're suing Robert and his children, for whom you have power of attorney, for $1,365 wages that you have not been paid, plus a bounced check fee. All right, let me hear from you first, Sean. Go ahead.
Okay. Last winter, I was a little slow with work, so I was trying to drum some up, stopping by local kitchen dealers. I was an installer. Finished carpenter before that, met Bob at one of the dealers. He took a look at some of my photos. He seemed very interested. He called me the next day and asked me to do some work for him. We had arranged a set amount.
What was the amount?
I was being paid $330 a day. My helper was being paid $120 a day, so it came to $450 per day.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there's, a lot of equipment, vehicle expenses, travel expenses. So basically had gone on like that for a while. Always kind of having issues when pay time came. And so I started looking for other employment.
Wait, what were the issues?
Just mostly just very late payment. You'd wait for weeks
How
and
many
weeks.
times had you received late payment?
Probably, it seemed like you wouldn't get paid until he needed you for another job. So there'd be 3 weeks in between, 4 weeks in between.
How long were you working on his properties?
About 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
On and off
so
again.
at some point it started to not be as fruitful for you, so you looked for other employment. And what employment did you got? Other employment, right?
Yeah, well, I went from doing kitchen installations. I found employment as a designer. So kind of hanging up the tool belt and getting away from the industry because he wasn't the first person that I had problems getting payment from.
All right, so talk to me about what happens in this particular property.
Okay. I had basically gotten him a kitchen at cost from a friend I knew that was a dealer. He did pay me for the cabinetry.
Okay.
My helper and nephew Chris went up for 3 days, which is right within the estimate that I gave him for the time it would take. We installed the kitchen.
We or he?
Both of us together.
Both of you, okay.
Yes, we installed the kitchen, we installed all the lock sets and mortised them on all the doors in the house. We did some chair rail molding as well as other various moldings in the house. And basically for 3 days labor was $1,350. We had agreed to come back the following week because basically, when you work per day for Bob and you're having a good day and getting a lot done, he'll show up and then he'll pile more things on for you to do. So the list was kind of growing as we finished up this kitchen. So I said, you know what? I'm off next Saturday. We'll come back up. We'll finish this punch list, whatever's left, and whatever else you need done, and that'll be that. He then issued me a check for $1,350, which turned out to have no funds to back it up. I have evidence that he knew at the time he issued the check that there were no funds to back it up because...
How do you have that evidence?
I have a text message of him saying that somebody was supposed to deposit funds that Monday. The check was issued on Saturday. I gave him every opportunity to make good on the check.
What would he tell you?
Well, I do have the text messages printed out.
And I've seen them. What he tells you is, oh, sorry, it's just a mistake. I'll get you the money. So why is it you're not paying him?
I had to get funded from the owner of the property to pay him.
Okay, but why?
I gave him my check out of a courtesy on that Saturday because it was Saturday at 12.
Right, but there were no funds in your account, so that's not a courtesy. That's an inconvenience that cost him $15. So can you tell me why today, because this was back when, February of 2015? When did this all happen?
This was August.
Bounce check was August. So why haven't you paid him? There better be a better reason than someone didn't make a deposit a Monday 6 months ago. Okay, so what's the problem?
So if you're dissatisfied with the work somebody does, is it better to stop payment on the check or to sue?
I would stop payment because it's like if you're at a restaurant and you don't like the meal, you can send it back. But if you eat the meal, then you're going to have to pay for it.
I kind of see a lot of problems with that we don't have time to deal with.
I say you go through with it and then get to go to a lawyer and sue. I think that's the best way to go about it.
So you pay. Okay, who's going to be the tiebreaker here? Tiebreaker?
Well, I think if you stop payment, it looks like you didn't want to pay for it. It just looks...
You look like a deadbeat.
Yeah, they might sue you.
Deadbeat, going inside the courtroom.
There was issues. When he first gave an estimate to do the kitchen, it was going to be 2 days. It actually turned out to be...
Don't interrupt him.
Actually turned out to be 3 days, but one of those days was while he delivered the cabinets. The delivery was supposed to be included in the payment for the actual cabinets. So he should only have gotten paid 2 days, not 3 days.
When did you come up with this? Because you wrote a check.
After the fact, because I didn't make the original deal or inspect the cabinets when I gave him the payment.
I'm sorry, so you're relying on hearsay that somebody else told you who's not here to testify, who says that it was only supposed to be a 2-day estimate?
No, that was the agreement, it was 2 days.
Can I see it? Was there an agreement that it would be 2 days?
I have a text message.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I have a text message with Bob, the defendant, that I estimated between 3 and 4 days.
Can I see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pull it up. Do you have some text message that says 2 days?
No,
okay, keep going.
no.
Why else are you not paying the man?
There was an issue with the cabinets. One of the drawers did not open, it hit the stove.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Okay.
Toe kick was never installed on the bottom of the cabinets.
Hold on. Let's go back to the drawer doesn't open. That's kind of disturbing. A drawer doesn't open, it hits the stove?
Yes.
Do you have a picture?
Yes.
Let me see that. What happened there?
I was never allowed back onto the job after I informed Bob that his check had bounced and asked for payment.
But why would you leave the job with a drawer that hits...
There were no appliances on the job the last day I was there, so I had no way to rectify the situation.
So how does one rectify it?
Judge, the corner cabinet is actually called a blind cabinet. It adjusts from 3 to 7 inches away from the back wall of the stove. And it just was not adjusted.
Right, but you didn't, according to him, you didn't have the appliances there. How's he going to adjust it?
He's done other kitchens for us, Your Honor.
And guess at how fat the knobs are?
Same stove on every other kitchen. It's nothing changed. Same appliances that we've been using.
Right, but okay, hold on. You write him a check. The check bounces.
Judge, Can I interrupt you 1 second?
Yeah.
I get a call at 12 noon. It's Saturday. We're done. When are you going to be here?
I don't care. You wrote him a check.
Okay.
That means something. It's not vacant.
Right.
It means something. It's not insignificant. I was really pressed, and he was pressing. What were you talking about? The guy finished working. You owe him money. You got to pay him. So you write him a check. You apologize profusely in your text to him afterwards, talking about how somebody didn't make a deposit they were supposed to. I'll try to meet you. I'm sorry. I'll make good on it. I'll give you cash, all this stuff, but you don't. And now it sounds like you're coming up with reasons when if all this does is it takes a little adjusting, why wouldn't you just have him come back and do that then? If the appliances weren't there, he couldn't adjust it with the appliance there. What's he supposed to do? Remember how deep the particular knobs were on a particular kitchen that he did before? I mean, it's not a big deal apparently to you because you have no problem with the design itself because this is adjustable 3 to 7 inches. So why don't you just call him back and have him do it? Because the guy was willing to come back that Saturday.
Judge, there was other...
What's the real reason, my friend? Because I see the text where you say, my son wouldn't wait until Saturday. They got somebody else to finish it. Well, that must have been a shocker. If they did the work, and plus we're talking about chair, this isn't just for this drawer or this kitchen. It's also chair molding and chair rail, what's it called?
Chair rail molding,
chair
lock sets,
rail
Your Honor.
molding, and all this other stuff. And you're just going to stiff the guy and that's it? I'm supposed to stand here and...
Judge, that's not the case. He was paid other monies for that other work that he's claiming he was doing.
Stand on up, apprentice. Okay, that 13-something represents what work?
That was all the work we did during those three days.
And the work that you did during those 3 days encompassed what?
Basically, the lock sets, the molding, and the kitchen, and the delivery, everything was included in that.
Okay. What else are you using as an excuse to not pay the guy? Because I've just about had it.
Judge,
yeah. All right. If a guy says, I'll be there and finish a toe kick and adjust a drawer in 72 hours, that is not him breaching a contract. Not by any stretch of anybody's imagination. You have zero proof of the things that you are complaining about. And I have you in text repeatedly saying to the guy that you would make good, and then you just didn't. Because you figured he'd go away. Well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to order you to pay him $1,365 plus his court costs plus a bounce check fee. Verdict for the plaintiff.
All right, both sides.
Right, so step on out here and your reaction to that?
Contractor should have provided a contract, period.
All those reasons for stiffing the guy out of his money?
And the job wasn't done completely.
Oh, well, a couple of adjustments did need to be made at the end, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One day was for the delivery, and the other 2 days he was entitled to, provided he'd done the right job.
Oh, okay. All right, so step right down that way. There he goes. You work for him. How do you like that?
Well, I think Judge Millian ruled as good as she could have.
You love her, don't you?
She's a wonderful judge. Yeah. I think she's very intelligent and saw through the nonsense that was being spouted to her.
It was all going well there for a while. Where did it go off track?
Basically, when somebody doesn't need you, they feel some certain people feel they could keep your money, and that's when it went wrong.
Harvey?
It's real simple. When you hire a contractor, Kurt, call the contractor's licensing board. Make sure they're licensed, and if they're not, personally, run for the hills. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, James Negretti. He says he bought a race car from the defendant, who promised he would put a new engine in it and get it roadworthy. Well, the louse took his money, didn't come through on his end of the deal, and he has no idea why. So he's out $5,000 and is suing for just that today. This is the defendant, Paul. He says it was the plaintiff who called him and said he didn't want the car anymore. He put a lot of time into this car getting it ready for the plaintiff. His labor rate is $98.50 an hour, and if you ask him, they are square. He's accused of revving up a lawsuit.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he bought a race car from the defendant, promised him a new engine, but didn't deliver. The defendant says the plaintiff pulled out. It's the case of start your engine, not so fast.
Thank you, Douglas. James Negretti, you are suing Paul's automotive shop. You've asked us not to mention your last name or the name of the automotive shop for $5,000 that you want him to return to you, that you feel he is improperly withholding since he breached the contract to refurbish the car you bought. Tell me what happened.
Yes, I've been a customer with them for like 12 years, and I thought I was a good customer, you know, and we had a good friendship. But in December of 2013, we made a deal for a 2003 Cobra, and for $16,000. And I would give him $7,000 down, and then we would do monthly payments after the car was fixed because it needed a new motor and a new clutch. And I waited for like 8 months. The car just sat there. He did nothing to it. And then in August, he finally took the motor out, and that's when he told me that he needed more money down on it because he was getting married, and that the car cost more than he thought it was going to cost.
Okay.
So that's when I wanted my money back. And then he told me I would have to wait for it. So then in September 3rd, 2014, his father, which is his partner in the business, gave me a Honda, a 1999 Honda for $3,500 and take it off the bill.
The $7,000,
yeah.
All you paid to that point was $7,000,
$6,800.
Right? $6,800. So they were going to take the $3,500 Honda, and you were fine with that, so that reduces it to $3,300.
Right.
And
then in November, I was bugging him for the rest of the money. He gave me a $1,000 check, so that totaled it to
Who did?
Paul.
Gave you a $1,000 check.
Yeah.
So that brought it down to $2,300.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've been waiting ever since for that.
For your $2,300?
Yes.
And that's what you're suing for.
Yes.
You're suing for $2,300, but you want another $8,100 in treble damages for wrongfully withholding your money. How? How is your case? Somebody owes you money, they owe you money. They owe you interest on the money, prejudgment statutory interest on the money, but they don't owe you 4 times the money. I'm about to give him the floor, and he's going to say, I don't owe him money. So that's what courts are for. But let me hear from you what the contest is. The guy wants his money back. Apparently there's some deal struck by your company where they give him a Honda, they give him $1,000, he's owed $2,300. Why hasn't he been paid?
So would you buy a 12-year-old race car?
As much as I love classics, no.
Why?
Asking for trouble. It could easily be a lemon.
Yes or no?
Absolutely not. Not a 12-year-old.
See, the deal is it's not a lemon. It's kind of spent going inside the courtroom.
The car was my car, my personal car, not my company.
What kind of car was that?
It's a 2003 Mustang Cobra.
Okay. Is this like a race car?
Kind of, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I wasn't really looking to sell the car, but he kept bothering me to sell it. And I had just recently gotten engaged, and I'm like, you know what? Priorities, let me just get rid of the car and free up some cash and whatever. So the deal was that he was going to give me some money to get started on the engine. That's what the deal was. He said, and then in a couple months, when that's used up, I'll give you some more. And then we can finish it. Did you guys have anything
in writing?
No. Nope.
So now you're saying the deal's one thing and he's saying the deal's another.
Yeah, I told him right off the bat that I'm not in a situation to take a dime out of my pocket to get this car running, and he was fine with that. And I said, Jim, this money's used up. He said, all right, I'll give you some more money this month.
Did you ever tell him, okay, I'll get you some more money?
No.
And maybe you changed your mind after saying
the deal was done when he asked me for more money.
Did you ever tell him if you're never going to be out of pocket, if you need more money, I'll pay you more money?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so bottom line is that at some point, his displeasure with how long it's taking and the way in which it's being done causes you folks to renegotiate. And this is where the Honda comes in, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now tell me why he's not right that the Honda was to replace the $6,800, so that leaves a debt of $3,300 left over.
For the amount of labor that I put into the car that I didn't get paid for.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Obviously, when he is given a $3,500 Honda, it is because you are rescinding the original deal. Why would you get paid for the original deal? Did your father do this behind your back?
Actually, I didn't really know about it, but.
Till when?
To what?
Till when?
Till he got the car, till he got the Honda.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Yep.
So you feel that it's unfair because you put so much time in, so you don't want to have to pay the other $2,300.
Yes. Yep.
Right, but your feelings of something being unfair is not a contract.
Yeah.
A contract is what the parties agree to. So if you don't like the deal you originally struck, and you don't like, because you feel like it wasn't fair to you what you originally struck, or you don't like the deal your dad ended up striking when everything hit the fan, go talk to your dad and hit yourself on the head. But you can't turn around and tell him he's out the $2,300. Based on what I'm listening to, the verdict is for the plaintiff, $2,300. That's my judgment.
Let's get some comment from the defendant here. You just lost this case. What's your feeling on this outcome here?
I think it was pretty fair, honestly. I mean, I should have documented everything and put everything in writing, and I learned a lesson not to go on somebody's word.
Well, writing, of course, this is the people's court. Everything has to be in writing. That's how courts work. That's how contracts work. And that's the lesson you learned.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, so that's a good lesson to learn. Hopefully it'll keep you out of court next time. All right, so step on in here and you win your case. And so what's your comment?
I think it was fair. I had to come here to resolve this issue, and I think the verdict was fair.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think? Why do you think you had to sue him? He said it was fair too. So why do you think he didn't pay you?
I don't know. I guess he said he was getting married and he needed the money, so.
So you had to pay for his wedding?
Yes.
Harvey?
A lot of people think you can do this. You can never, ever, ever do it. You cannot change the terms of a deal unless the other party agrees and each person gives something up and gets something in return. If you sign a deal, you stop.